What if the only way to survive was to embrace something everyone else feared? Insects crawling under your skin, obeying your every command. In a world of superpowers, heroes, and monsters, one teenage girl discovers that her gift is as terrifying as it is powerful. But when society labels her a villain before she even chooses a side, the line between hero and monster begins to blur. This is not the story of saving the world, it's the story of surviving it. Welcome to Worm.
Hello everyone, hi all, and welcome to BookPodCastZone. I'm Emma, your guide through stories that truly stick with you, digging into the narratives that resonate long after the final page.
And I'm John, here to help us connect the dots, dissect the deeper meanings, and uncover the bigger picture in these incredible stories.
Today we're embarking on an epic journey, a deep dive into Wildbow's colossal web serial, Worm.
Colossal is definitely the word for it.
Right, and for those maybe new to the format, a web serial is basically a novel published online, chapter by chapter, often in real time as the author writes it, which builds this incredible community along the way.
Exactly. It's a unique reading experience. And Worm isn't just any superhero story. Oh no. It's a raw, unflinching look at survival, power, identity. All through the eyes of Taylor Hebert. She's one of the world's parahumans. People with superpowers.
And unflinching is key there. It doesn't pull punches.
Not at all. Wait. So we'll be navigating through its sprawling narrative, pulling out the most potent insights from key arcs, and trying to unravel the threads of this modern classic.
Yeah, our mission today is really to give you a solid, comprehensive understanding of Taylor's world. From her pretty traumatic origins right through to the story's really poignant conclusion.
We'll dig into the emotional landscape.
The core philosophies Wildbow is grappling with.
And those real-world parallels that just make Worm hit so hard for so many people.
Right. We want you to walk away feeling truly well-informed about why this story is such a big deal, why it resonates. It's definitely a modern classic in its own right.
Okay, let's dive in. We begin, as you have to, in the gritty, decaying streets of Brockton Bay. The first arc, Gestation. It's a brutal introduction.
Brutal is fair. This isn't a world where powers are necessarily a gift. More like a burden, often monstrous.
So this opening arc introduces us to Taylor Hebert. She's a high school outcast facing just relentless, absolutely vicious bullying.
And it's personal, too. From former friends, which makes it cut so much deeper, Emma Barnes, Sophia Hess. The betrayal is palpable.
Oh, totally. You imagine that feeling of just systematic psychological torment?
Yes.
The locker incident, it's infamous for a reason. It's the terrifying climax of that, leaving her feeling utterly powerless, invisible, alone.
Completely dehumanized.
Exactly. And then right at that breaking point, bam, this strange insect-controlling ability manifests.
But it's not that, glorious moment of destiny you see in some comic.
No, it's visceral. It's almost desperate. A reaction to trauma, not some blessing from the sky. Wildbow doesn't romanticize it at all.
He immediately sets the stage. She's forced into this world that instantly blurs the lines between victim, potential villain, maybe even hero, but the lines are messy from the start.
And that really kicks off this sprawling, often terrifying superhero saga.
And what Wildbow does so uniquely here in Gestation, it isn't just showing Taylor's pain, although he does that incredibly well. It's how that raw pain, specifically from the betrayal, acts as the precise catalyst for her deciding to use her powers.
It's not just a random power-up.
No, it erupts from this deep psychological need to get some control back after being treated like less than human. It's not about becoming a hero because it's the right thing to do. It's personal. It's about reclaiming agency, fighting back.
Even the manifestation is unsettling.
Oh, absolutely terrifying, grotesque. Insects crawling. It's body horror, almost. But even in that horror, it's her first tentative step towards taking control. Maybe accidental at first.
A fleeting moment, maybe.
Exactly. That fleeting moment where she gains some mastery over these, let's face it, unsettling abilities. It hints at this huge inner strength, though. A strategic mind starting to click into gear.
You see the potential there.
Yeah.
Even early on.
Definitely. But its potential stained by the trauma it came from. That never really leaves her.
So digging deeper, the core idea isn't just that standard powerlessness to agency trope.
No, Wildbow is way more specific. He ties her agency directly to her specific, really unsettling power. It almost mirrors how her bullies dehumanized her, right? She controls these things others see as pests, as vermin.
So her power reinforces her outcast status, even as it gives her strength.
Precisely. She has to confront her own perceived monstrosity, even as she's trying to find some kind of justice, or maybe just survival. It's agency born from trauma, and it's tinged with self-loathing from the get-go.
And that connects to the idea of consequences, right? The butterfly effect.
Massively. Her very first act of defiance, maybe a seemingly minor decision to strike back or use her powers, it sets her on this irreversible path. It's a cascade. Small choices lead to these monumental, unforeseen, and often really tragic consequences.
It feels very real, actually. Like how something small online can just explode.
Exactly like that. A minor grievance, a misinterpreted comment, it can escalate wildly today. Wildbow captures that sense of uncontrollable ripple effects perfectly.
And thinking about where this fits in, Wildbow's portrayal, the realism, the brutality, the moral ambiguity, it feels very current.
Oh, incredibly relevant to contemporary media trends, especially around 2025. Think about, like, some of the big streaming hits. You get that blend of dark, complex teen psychology like you see in shows maybe like Euphoria, that raw, emotional honesty, the internal battles, mixed with the high-stakes, morally gray action of something like The Boys, which completely skewers traditional superhero narratives. Worm taps right into those modern conversations we're having about bullying, mental health, finding empowerment when the world feels hostile.
Which it often does for young people.
Absolutely. It reflects our societal anxieties about power, who gets it, how it's used, accountability, justice, all of it.
Taylor's story, I don't know, it just hits hard for me. It's almost like reliving those moments, when you finally stand up for yourself, even if you're shaking inside. That mix of pure terror and maybe a little bit of triumph, it feels incredibly authentic.
Exactly. This arc isn't just setting up the powers, it's a foundation built on trauma and this desperate, ethically complex pursuit of control. It hooks you because it feels real, even with the superpowers. Its honesty is unflinching.
So she has powers, she's made a choice, but now she has to navigate this incredibly dangerous new world. She starts testing the waters, finding potential allies, or maybe enemies pretending to be allies.
And making bold moves that don't always go as planned.
Right. She faces immediate, often unexpected fallout. Learning who to trust or not trust in this underworld where alliances are constantly shifting, constantly transactional. It's a minefield.
The next few arcs really explore that. We see her first steps into this shadow world in insinuation, then the stakes escalate dramatically in agitation, and she deals with the consequences and tries to rebuild in shell.
Okay, so in insinuation, she's exploring this new group dynamic, right? Trying to figure out where she fits with these, well, unlikely allies in the powered underworld.
Yeah, and Wildbow immediately draws you into this tense dance. Is it trust? Is it deception? She's navigating this new landscape, constantly testing the waters.
And emotionally, there must be moments of connection, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even fleeting ones.
Absolutely. You see these moments of camaraderie, these glimpses of connection that offer her a lifeline. But they're always underscored by hidden risks, the constant question of true intentions. Are these people friends or just using her?
And she's growing more confident in her abilities.
Definitely. There's this clashing confidence and doubt. She's getting better, more assured with her powers, but there's this nagging doubt about the choices she's making, the company she's keeping. Is this the right path? Is she becoming the kind of person she hates?
The core idea here feels like the fragile nature of trust.
Totally central. Trust in a world where masks are literal, motives are constantly hidden. How do you figure out who's an ally, who's an enemy, when everyone has an angle?
And that pull between fitting in and staying true to yourself.
That universal struggle, right? Conforming to a group, wanting to belong, but trying desperately to hold on to your own integrity, your own identity. It's tough.
It reminds me a bit of navigating, complex workplaces today.
That's a great parallel, especially in, say, the gig economy or really competitive corporate settings around 2025. Alliances are often built on shaky ground, purely for mutual benefit, not genuine loyalty. You team up for a project, then you might be competing tomorrow. Very Worm-like.
Yeah, this arc feels like joining a new friend group and constantly wondering who's really on your side, that anxiety.
She's figuring out her place in this incredibly dangerous world, and that feeling chasing belonging while staying vigilant is so relatable for anyone who's ever felt like an outsider trying to fit in.
Okay, so after dipping her toes in, things escalate fast in agitation. A bold plan that might just bring everything crashing down.
Oh yeah, agitation is where Taylor really gets in over her head. The stakes skyrocket.
We see a high-stakes operation unfold.
Definitely. It pushes Taylor right into the spotlight, into the forefront of the action. It's her first big move, really trying to make a name for herself, prove her worth.
And Wildbow orchestrates this pulse-pounding clash, I imagine.
Absolutely. And the lines between right and wrong get dangerously blurred here. What starts as maybe a justifiable plan morphs into something much messier, much more morally gray.
Emotionally, what's happening to Taylor?
There's this surge of adrenaline. She's taking charge in a major operation, feeling the thrill of leadership, the power, but then the unexpected fallout hits. Immediate, unforeseen consequences that make her question everything.
And betrayal often follows ambition in these stories.
Exactly. There's a deep-cutting betrayal here, a pivotal moment that forces Taylor to critically question her chosen path, the allies she's made, and the true cost of her ambition. It shakes her.
So the core ideas are really about the cost of that ambition, power's corrupting influence.
Yeah, how power tempts corruption, even if you start with good intentions, and the moral compromises people are forced to make when pursuing their goals. It's a slippery slope.
And loyalty gets tested under pressure.
Severely strained. Alliances, personal loyalties, they crack under high-stakes situations. It reflects those real-world moral dilemmas where doing the right thing is complicated and might cost you dearly.
This arc sounds like it has those, heist vibes we see a lot now.
Totally connects to that 2025 cultural fascination with anti-hero stories, right? Blockbuster capers dominating streaming platforms where the protagonists operate in morally gray areas. You root for them, but you know they're breaking rules, maybe hurting people. Agitation captures that perfectly.
This arc's intensity, just thinking about it, it sounds like it would have you on edge. Taylor's choices feel so incredibly real, even in this heightened world.
It's like watching a high-stakes chess game where every single move risks checkmate. The tension is dialed way up.
Okay, so after the chaos of agitation, the dust settles, but the wounds remain. That brings us to Shell.
Right. Shell is about picking up the pieces.
So the focus shifts to recovery, consequences.
Exactly. It follows the chaos of the previous arc. Wildbow shows these moments of quiet strength, Taylor trying to process what happened, maybe form new connections. But there's always this underlying threat, this feeling that the peace is temporary.
Are there moments of hope here? New bonds forming?
Definitely. A tender bond emerges. A new, significant relationship starts to form, offering a glimmer of hope amidst the ongoing chaos and challenges. It's crucial for her emotional recovery.
But she must be wary of trusting again.
Absolutely. Her vulnerability surfaces. We see Taylor struggle to trust again, revealing those deeper emotional scars from past betrayals. It's part of her journey toward healing, but it's not easy.
It feels like the core idea here is healing as defiance.
That's a great way to put it. The idea that recovery, rebuilding yourself and your life can be a powerful act of resistance, especially in a broken or hostile system like Brockton Bay.
In the power of found family.
Crucial. In the absence of traditional family support, her relationship with her dad is complicated. These chosen relationships become her vital source of strength and resilience. Her team, her allies, they become her anchor.
How does this connect to now, 2025?
I see it in the broader cultural push for resilience. Think about global recovery narratives post-crisis, whether it's after a pandemic, a natural disaster, economic downturns. There's this emphasis on collective effort, rebuilding communities, finding hope together. Shell taps into that same spirit.
Taylor's growth here, finding connection after turmoil, it feels like a warm hug after a storm. It's very comforting almost.
It really shows how true strength often comes from connection, from vulnerability, not just from raw power or aggression. It's a different kind of strength.
All right, folks, we've covered Taylor's intense beginnings and her first forays into the complex world of heroes and villains. Before we move into the next major phase of her story, where her strategic brilliance truly blossoms, just a quick reminder. If you're enjoying this deep dive into Worm, please consider liking, subscribing, and sharing. It really helps us bring more content like this to you.
Yeah, your support makes a huge difference. Okay, ready to see Taylor really unleash her tactical mind?
Absolutely. Let's dive into Hive. Here's where it gets really interesting. So Hive, what if your greatest weapon was also your greatest fear? Or at least deeply unsettling to everyone else? Taylor unleashes chaos in this game-changing arc.
Yeah, Hive is where you really see her step up strategically. A swarm of conflicts erupts, providing this perfect platform for her mind to shine.
It's not just about brute force anymore.
Not at all. It's about unparalleled intelligence, meticulous planning, orchestrating these incredibly complex maneuvers with her swarm. Wildbow crafts this tense, multi-layered battle where her control over her powers, and really the whole situation, is paramount.
The stakes are higher than ever.
Incredibly high. Her ingenuity is truly put to the test. She's pushing her abilities and her understanding of those abilities right to their limits.
So emotionally, this must be a big moment for her, owning her power.
Definitely. In Hive, she doesn't just use her powers, she masters them in a way that really pushes boundaries. We see this truly triumphant moment of power ownership.
Like specific examples.
Think about her orchestrating these intricate swarms, maybe building a colossal mobile body entirely out of insects to intimidate someone, or creating literal cameras out of flies for remote surveillance.
Yeah.
This strategic genius is satisfying to watch. You see her growth from just reacting to deliberately manipulating things on a large scale.
But this is Worm. There's always a cost.
Always. As satisfying as that triumph is, it comes at a discernible cost. She grapples with that chilling realization, the price of control. What are the ethical implications of commanding sentient life, even if it's just insects? What's the personal toll of inflicting terror with her abilities, even if it's against bad guys?
It's that deep introspection about the moral weight of her power.
Exactly, and that ties into the core ideas. It's a unique take on the classic power and responsibility theme. For Taylor, it's not just about don't hurt people. It's about the nuanced dangers that come with her specific creepy-crawly abilities and how the nature of her power makes others instantly perceive her as monstrous, regardless of her intentions.
And how strategy shapes her identity.
Massively. Her tactical prowess, her ability to plan these complex operations with her swarm, her decision-making in these high-pressure fights, it actively contributes to who she becomes. Her intellect, her capacity for intricate planning, becomes as much a part of her core identity as the bugs themselves. It defines her more than the costume.
It really makes me think of high-level strategy games or even esports.
That's a perfect real-world connection for 2025. Esports is enormous now. Huge prize pools, millions watching, every move, every decision in games like, say, League of Legends or Valorant. It's meticulously calculated. It carries significant risk. And it profoundly influences a player's identity and reputation, both in the game and in the wider community.
It's about outthinking your opponent.
Exactly. Exploiting weaknesses, executing these perfect plays under immense pressure. It's like a high-stakes chess match where one brilliant move can completely turn the tide. I remember watching the World's Finals last year. One team pulled off this insane last-minute bait-and-switch strategy, totally mirrored Taylor's multi-layered plans, blindsided the opponents, won them the championship. Hive has that same feeling of strategic masterclass.
Taylor's like a grandmaster playing a complex, real-time strategy game here. It's absolutely thrilling to watch her orchestrate everything. You can almost see the gears turning in her head, processing millions of inputs from her swarm.
And this arc just powerfully shows how power can be both incredibly freeing, giving her agency she never had, and utterly terrifying at the same time. It's that double-edged sword she's constantly learning to wield, always risking being consumed by it.
So after proving her strategic genius, the webs of deception only tighten, right? That leads us into Tangle.
Yeah, Tangle lives up to its name. Things get complicated.
What happens when every ally might actually be an enemy in disguise? Taylor's caught in this intricate web of lies.
The deception's just deep in here. She's forced to navigate this incredibly complex landscape of shifting alliances, hidden agendas, people saying one thing and meaning another.
Wildbow weaves this maze of motives.
Absolutely. Trust becomes an increasingly scarce commodity. Who can she rely on? Who's playing her? It gets harder and harder to tell.
Are there key emotional turning points? Maybe another betrayal.
Oh, yes. There's a shocking betrayal in Tangle, a pivotal one that fundamentally reshapes Taylor's worldview and her understanding of the relationships she thought she had. It cuts deep again.
But is there any light? Any real connection?
There is. Contrasting that darkness, there's a quiet moment of genuine human connection. It offers this fragile spark of hope amidst all the pervasive deceit. A reminder that not everyone is out to get her, maybe.
So the core ideas are really drilling down on the complexity of loyalty.
Definitely. The multifaceted nature of loyalty in a world brimming with hidden agendas, double crosses, conflicting motivations. Why do people stick together? What breaks them apart? It's all explored here.
And betrayal as a catalyst for growth. Painful growth, but still growth.
Exactly. These experiences, as agonizing as they are, force Taylor to grow. To become more self-reliant, maybe more cynical, but also smarter. She has to adapt her strategies, learn not to be taken advantage of.
It sounds like the plot of a really intense political drama.
It connects perfectly to that. Think about contemporary political dramas, especially in 2025, and the ongoing debates around institutional mistrust. Stories where honesty and loyalty are rare commodities, where everyone seems to have a hidden angle. Tangle captures that atmosphere of suspicion and intrigue.
This arc's twists, just imagining them, they'd have me second-guessing everyone. You just don't know who to trust. It sounds exhausting.
Taylor's journey here is so much like navigating a truly toxic friend group or a really complicated political work environment where backstabbing is common. It's relatable in a stressful way.
Okay, the tension is building. What happens in Buzz? A bold stand looms.
Buzz is where Taylor's personal growth really takes center stage, even as the dangers escalate.
What drives this arc? Personal stakes colliding with external threats.
Precisely. She's compelled to step up, to take a stand, maybe define herself more clearly. Wildbow presents these moments of raw courage, but they're interwoven with that profound self-doubt that always lingers with Taylor.
So we see her making a big decision that shows how far she's come.
Yeah, there's a bold decision marking her evolution. A significant choice she makes that clearly demonstrates her personal growth, her maturation as a character. She's not just reacting anymore, she's acting with more deliberation.
But the self-doubt doesn't just vanish.
Never entirely. There's a moment of intense introspection where her vulnerabilities, her fears are brought right to the forefront. It makes her struggles incredibly relatable, even as she's doing extraordinary things.
The core idea feels like overcoming fear to embrace identity.
Absolutely central. That journey of confronting your deepest fears, fear of failure, fear of becoming monstrous, fear of being alone to fully step into and accept your true self, flaws and all.
And finding strength in vulnerability?
That paradox, right. Often, revealing and acknowledging your weakness, being honest about your fears, can be a profound source of inner strength. It makes you more human, more resilient.
This focus on growth and self-acceptance feels very relevant today.
Definitely connects to the broader 2025 mental health conversations, emphasizing finding your voice, building resilience, accepting yourself. Taylor's journey, while extreme, mirrors that internal struggle many people face.
Taylor's courage here sounds so incredibly inspiring. She really takes a leap, it seems.
This arc truly feels like finding your unique voice in a very noisy and chaotic world. Standing tall even when you're scared.
And then, the chaos gets dialed up to 11. Extermination. Sounds ominous.
No, it is. Extermination marks a massive shift, a citywide catastrophe.
What if the end of the world, or at least the end of your world, forced enemies to unite? Taylor faces a colossal threat here.
Colossal is underselling it. A catastrophic event devastates Brockton Bay, one of the Endbringers' attacks. This forces an unprecedented, desperate alliance among former rivals, heroes, villains, independents. Everyone has to fight together just to survive.
Wildbow plunges the narrative into a high-stakes battle for sheer survival.
Against truly overwhelming odds. This isn't about territory or ideology anymore. It's about making it through the next hour. The scale is immense. The destruction is devastating.
Emotionally, what are the key moments? Unity in adversity.
There's this incredibly powerful moment or series of moments where bitter rivalries are momentarily set aside for the common good. It redefines what it means to be an ally, even if it's temporary. Seeing characters who hated each other fighting back to back, it's potent.
But there must be loss, too. Significant loss.
Heartbreaking loss, yes. A significant loss profoundly impacts Taylor and her allies, testing their resolve, their capacity for enduring grief amidst the chaos. The cost of survival is incredibly high.
So the core ideas are about collective action in crisis.
The power of it. How shared danger can galvanize disparate groups into unified, effective action. It highlights the importance of community, even a temporary one forged in disaster.
And sacrifice is a measure of heroism.
Absolutely. We see profound acts of selflessness, characters making the ultimate sacrifice. It forces a reevaluation of traditional definitions of heroism. It's not just about punching bad guys, it's about protecting others, even at the cost of your own life.
This sounds like the scale of a huge blockbuster disaster movie.
Exactly. It compares directly to those contemporary blockbuster disaster films that resonate with audiences in 2025. That blend of massive spectacle, edge-of-your-seat action, but grounded with real emotional depth and human connection amidst the destruction. Think Independence Day, but with more moral complexity.
This arc's intensity sounds absolutely next level. Pure adrenaline from start to finish.
It's really about finding hope, finding something, anything to fight for when literally everything else seems to be falling apart around you, surviving the unsurvivable.
Okay, Brockton Bay is devastated. What happens next? New roles emerge. Sentinel.
Right. After the cataclysm, the status quo is shattered. Sentinel offers a shift in perspective, looking at the established heroes.
What if the heroes weren't what they seemed? A new perspective shakes things up.
That's the core question Sentinel asks. The narrative focus shifts, maybe temporarily, to the established guardians of the system, the Protectorate heroes, and it reveals unexpected flaws, deep vulnerabilities in their ranks.
It's a look behind the curtain.
Exactly. A sobering, almost cynical look behind that gleaming facade of heroism. Wildbow delves into their world, the duty, the doubt, the intense internal struggles of people expected to be these unwavering beacons of justice.
You see the pressure they're under.
Immense pressure. The compromises they've made, the bureaucracy they fight, the human cost of being a public symbol constantly under scrutiny. It's a fundamental deconstruction of that traditional superhero myth.
Is there a moment where we see a hero's vulnerability?
Yes, and it's powerful. A seemingly infallible hero, maybe someone Taylor even looked up to, reveals their struggle, their moral compromises, their personal failings. It highlights their humanity, the immense burden of their roles. It forces you to empathize, even as you see their flaws.
And this leads to questioning the system itself.
Definitely. There's a significant conflict or revelation that forces a reevaluation of the entire system Taylor operates within. It challenges the established norms, the ideals these heroes are supposed to uphold, revealing the systemic rot beneath the surface.
So the core idea is really puncturing that idealized image of heroism.
Peeling back the layers, revealing the complexities, the bureaucracy, the moral compromises inherent in maintaining order, especially in a world with powers as messy as worms. It asks tough questions. What sacrifices are made? What lines are crossed? In the name of a greater good defined by a flawed institution.
And that internal conflict. Duty versus personal morality.
A constant theme. Characters torn between their sworn duties to an organization, their public image, and their own ethical compass. It leads to these agonizing, often tragic choices. The good guys aren't always good, and sometimes their hands are tied by politics, public perception, or just bad rules.
This feels incredibly relevant to those debates about institutional trust we see all the time now.
Absolutely connects to that 2025 landscape. Think about the ongoing scrutiny of tech giants like Meta, or Google, their power, their influence, the questions about their ethics, or public perception of authority figures in government, law enforcement. There's this constant questioning. Who holds power, and do they deserve our trust? Especially when information feels manipulated.
It resonates with that skepticism a lot of people feel towards large, seemingly incorruptible institutions.
And it highlights the hidden costs of maintaining order, the compromises made behind closed doors.
This arc absolutely flips the script on who we typically cheer for. It really makes you think, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Makes you wonder if anyone truly holds the moral high ground.
It's like seeing the cracks forming in a foundation you always thought was solid and unshakable. A real wake-up call to look closer at the narratives we're fed about heroism and authority.
Okay, so after questioning the heroes, the threats become more insidious. What happens in Parasite?
Parasite takes things into psychological horror territory.
What if your mind wasn't your own? Taylor faces a chilling invasion.
That's exactly it. Infiltration and psychological control become the central themes here. The lines of individual agency, of who's controlling whom, get terrifyingly blurred.
Wildbow transforms the narrative into a psychological thriller.
A gripping one. It's less about physical battles and more about mental warfare, manipulation, and the horror of losing yourself.
What's the key emotional impact on Taylor?
There's this profound experience of violation, mental or emotional infiltration that deeply compromises her identity, her autonomy. It shakes her sense of self to the core. Who is she if her thoughts aren't even her own?
And she fights back.
Desperately. We see this intense struggle to reclaim mastery over her own mind and actions. It underscores her incredible resilience, her refusal to be broken, even when facing something so deeply invasive.
The core idea here is just the sheer horror of losing autonomy.
That profound psychological and existential terror, losing control over your own thoughts, your own body. It's a primal fear, and Wildbow explores it relentlessly.
And identity itself becomes a battleground.
Exactly. The very essence of who Taylor is becomes the field for this crucial battle, both internal and external. Can she hold on to herself against this parasitic influence?
This sounds unnervingly close to some modern anxieties.
It really links to contemporary discussions around AI ethics, data privacy, surveillance hot topics in 2025. Concerns over how technology or powerful entities could potentially manipulate us, invade our privacy, control information, maybe even influence our thoughts or behaviors without us realizing it.
Like those debates about algorithmic influence or deepfakes.
Precisely. The potential for technological manipulation, the erosion of personal autonomy in a data-driven world. Parasite taps into those fears in a visceral sci-fi way.
This arc sounds so unsettling, like a nightmare you just can't shake off. The violation is palpable.
But Taylor's fight here, her struggle to maintain her selfhood, it's a powerful testament to pure, unyielding resilience in the face of that violation. It shows her inner strength in a terrifying new light.
After psychological horror, what comes next? Infestation. Sounds related, but maybe broader.
It is. Infestation scales the threat outwards, impacting the community.
What if fear itself became the enemy? Taylor battles a spreading panic.
That's the essence of infestation. A creeping, insidious threat emerges, but it's not just the threat itself, it's the fear it generates. It tests the survival instincts of individuals and entire communities.
Wildbow portrays a world where fear becomes a tangible force.
Yes. Fear drives division, paranoia, chaos. It can be more destructive than the actual physical threat, turning people against each other when they most need to unite.
Are there moments where people overcome that fear? Unite.
Absolutely. There are powerful moments of unity against overwhelming odds. Diverse characters, maybe even former enemies, come together in the face of this shared, terrifying enemy, forging unexpected bonds out of necessity and shared humanity.
And personal sacrifice comes into play again.
Deeply. There's a profound act of self-sacrifice that redefines relationships and highlights the depth of connection between characters, people stepping up for each other, even at great personal cost.
So the core idea is explore fear as this divisive force.
Exactly. How widespread panic can fracture communities, turn individuals against each other even more effectively than a physical enemy can. It exploits our worst instincts.
But also the strength of community in crisis.
That's the counter-narrative. Despite the fear, a strong community or even the attempt to build one can provide the necessary resilience and support to overcome overwhelming odds. Connection becomes the antidote to fear.
This sounds familiar, thinking about recent global events.
It draws direct parallels to global health scares or crises experienced around, the early 2020s and leading into 2025. Situations where collective action, overcoming panic, relying on community unity were absolutely crucial for survival and recovery. Managing fear was as important as managing the threat itself.
This arc sounds like facing your worst fears, but having friends and allies by your side makes all the difference. That support network.
It powerfully shows how fear can either utterly break us, turn us into monsters ourselves, or it can ultimately build us into something stronger, more connected, more resilient.
Okay, the threats keep escalating. What happens in Plague?
Plague takes the societal threat level even higher.
What if the world itself turned toxic? Taylor faces a spreading horror.
That captures the feeling. A devastating epidemic, maybe literal, maybe metaphorical, maybe both, escalates, revealing hidden truths and pushing society right to the brink of collapse.
Wildbow depicts a race against societal collapse.
Yes, marked by desperation, dwindling resources, and incredibly dire stakes. The systems people rely on start breaking down under the strain.
How does Taylor cope with this level of crisis? Is there more loss?
There is. A heartbreaking loss fuels her determination. A significant personal loss for Taylor that, instead of breaking her, somehow intensifies her resolve, her commitment to her mission, whatever that has become by this point. Grief becomes fuel.
And does she uncover something crucial?
Yes, there's a revelation that shifts her mission. A crucial discovery or realization that fundamentally alters her understanding of the situation, the true nature of the plague, and redirects her goals. It reframes the entire conflict.
The core ideas seem to be about the fragility of society.
How easily established social structures, norms, trust, how easily it can all crumble when faced with an overwhelming existential threat. It's a sobering look at civilization's thin veneer.
But also hope as defiance.
That persistent theme in Worm, finding and clinging to hope even in the absolute darkest moments, as a powerful act of resistance against despair, Even when everything seems lost, that spark keeps them going.
This feels very relevant to discussions around climate change or major health crises today.
Absolutely. Connects directly to those contemporary crises in 2025. The escalating stakes, the feeling of systemic threats. It emphasizes how collective action, resilience, and maybe radical hope are paramount when facing challenges that threaten the whole system.
This arc sounds so incredibly intense, like watching the world just unravel in real time.
But Taylor's enduring hope, however battered it gets, is what really keeps you hooked, keeps you invested in the story. It's the anchor in the storm.
Wow, okay. We've been through psychological horror, societal breakdown. What's next? Snare. Sounds like a trap.
Precisely. After the large-scale chaos, the focus narrows again to strategy and manipulation.
What if every step forward was actually leading you into a trap? Taylor's caught in a deadly game.
That's the vibe of Snare. Cunningly laid traps, strategic maneuvers define this arc as Taylor desperately fights to outwit her foes, who are getting smarter and more ruthless too.
Wildbow creates a tense, intricate, strategic showdown.
Exactly. Emphasizing wit, planning, and intelligence over just raw power or brute force. It's a chess match again, but the board is booby-trapped.
Does Taylor manage to escape? Does her intelligence shine?
Yes, there's a moment showcasing her growth, a clever escape. Her intelligence and adaptability allow her to get out of a seemingly inescapable situation. It demonstrates her evolution as a strategist under pressure.
But does her confidence waver?
There's always that vulnerability. A moment of doubt testing her resolve. A critical instance where her confidence falters. Maybe she questions her plan or her ability to win. It tests her inner strength and commitment.
Core ideas. Wit over brute force.
Examining how intelligence, meticulous planning, tactical thinking can be far more effective than just raw strength, especially in complex conflicts with multiple players and hidden variables.
And trust is a double-edged sword again.
Always lurking. How reliance on others can be both a powerful asset, you can't do everything alone, but also a dangerous vulnerability, especially in a world saturated with deception. Who do you let help you?
This reminds me of those really popular puzzle games or escape rooms.
Great connection. Parallels to those 2025 viral puzzle games or escape room trends. Every move is calculated. Strategic thinking is key. One wrong step triggers the trap. Snare has that same intricate, high-pressure feel.
Taylor's like a master strategist here, trying to navigate a minefield. It sounds absolutely thrilling to see her mind at work under that pressure.
This arc is all about outsmarting the odds, using your brain when you're outmatched in other ways, intelligence as the ultimate weapon.
Okay, she escapes the snare, only to be hunted. Prey is next.
The pressure doesn't let up. Prey shifts into a relentless chase.
What if you were both hunter and hunted simultaneously? Taylor's on the run in a deadly chase.
That dynamic defines Prey. A relentless pursuit drives the narrative, pushing Taylor's survival instincts to their absolute limit. She's not just defending, she's actively being hunted.
Wildbow crafts a heart-pounding game of cat and mouse.
Full of tension, reversals, near misses, high stakes. You feel the exhaustion, the desperation, the constant looking over her shoulder.
Does she have moments where she nearly gets caught?
Oh, definitely. There are narrow escapes that spark defiance. A close call that, rather than discouraging her, ignites this stronger sense of defiance, this iron will to survive against all odds.
Is there any respite, any connection amidst the chaos?
There are brief but significant moments. A fleeting interaction, maybe with an unexpected ally or someone she protects, that offers solace or reinforcement amidst the relentless chase. It emphasizes that human connection, even in desperation.
Core ideas. Survival is a test of character.
Examining how extreme pressure, the constant threat of capture or death, reveals the true essence of Taylor's character. Her unwavering will, her resourcefulness, her limits.
And that blurred line between hunter and hunted.
Discussing the psychological impact, being both the aggressor at times, maybe setting traps for her pursuers and the target, how these roles can merge or flip, and the mental toll it takes.
This sounds like a top-tier thriller movie.
Connects perfectly to contemporary thriller trends in film and TV in 2025, especially those high-stakes survival shows or movies that explore human endurance, pitting characters against impossible odds and relentless pursuers. Pure adrenaline.
This arc sounds like a roller coaster, pure, unadulterated adrenaline, non-stop tension.
And Taylor's fight here feels so deeply personal. Every step of the chase is resonant because we're so invested in her survival by this point. You feel every near miss.
Okay, she survives the hunt, and then things shift towards rebuilding. Colony is next.
Yes, a significant shift in focus, from pure survival to trying to build something.
What if you could rebuild the world, or at least your corner of it, your way? Taylor takes charge in a shifting landscape.
Leadership and community building become the driving forces here. After all the destruction and chaos, Taylor embarks on creating something new from the wreckage, trying to establish some kind of order or safe haven.
Wildbow presents a story infused with hope, ambition.
Hope, definitely, but also the immense challenges of reconstruction. Ambition, too, Taylor's vision for what this new community could be, but it's fraught with difficulty.
Does she step up as a leader? Is she recognized?
There's a pivotal moment where her leadership solidifies. It's unequivocally recognized and embraced, maybe reluctantly by some, but it solidifies her new position within this nascent community. She's not just a fighter anymore, she's a leader.
And does she make sacrifices for this community?
Yes, there's an act of selflessness. A personal sacrifice Taylor makes that benefits the community, demonstrating her commitment and further cementing her leadership role. It shows she's willing to put the group's needs, sometimes, above her own.
So the core ideas explore the challenges of leadership, especially in chaos.
The immense difficulties and moral dilemmas. Trying to establish order, purpose, rules, resource allocation, all in a chaotic post-crisis environment with limited resources and traumatized people. It's incredibly hard.
And community is a source of strength again.
Discussing how that collective effort, mutual support within a community, even a flawed, struggling one, becomes an indispensable source of power and resilience. They survive together or not at all.
This makes me think of real-world rebuilding efforts.
Connects directly to contemporary urban renewal projects or post-disaster reconstruction efforts we see around 2025. That blend of hope and vision with the sheer grit and hard work required to rebuild lives and infrastructure from scratch. It's never easy.
Taylor's building something truly real and impactful here. It sounds incredibly inspiring to witness after all the destruction she's faced and caused.
This arc is about that profound human need to create a home, a sense of belonging, a community, even when the world outside is crumbling. It's a fundamental drive.
But leadership brings its own burdens. Monarch is next. Power struggles.
Exactly. Leading the colony isn't simple. Monarch delves into the weight of that power.
What if ruling meant losing yourself? Taylor faces the weight of power.
Ambition and responsibility collide head-on here. Taylor navigates the intense complexities of leadership and its heavy burdens. It's not just about giving orders, it's about the consequences, the compromises, the toll it takes.
Wildbow explores a struggle for control, influence,
and the critical need for personal connection amidst authority. Power can be incredibly isolating, and Taylor struggles with that, trying to maintain her humanity while making tough, sometimes ruthless decisions.
Does she have a moment where she really cements her authority?
Yes, there's a triumphant stand, maybe a strategic victory or a decisive political move that undeniably solidifies her position of power and influence. It shows she can wield this authority effectively.
But is there a personal cost? A loss that makes her question it all?
There is. A deeply personal loss occurs that forces Taylor to reevaluate the cost of her leadership, the path she's on. Is the power worth the pain? Is she becoming someone she doesn't recognize?
Core ideas. The cost of power and influence.
Examining the sacrifices, the compromises, the moral grayness, and the personal toll that come with wielding significant authority. It's never clean, never easy.
And balancing ambition with relationships.
That delicate act. Pursuing grand objectives for her colony while striving desperately to maintain meaningful personal connections, avoiding the isolation that often comes with being at the top.
This resonates with leadership discussions today, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Connects to contemporary leadership debates in 2025. From the responsibilities and public scrutiny faced by tech moguls like Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos, to the challenges faced by grassroots movement leaders trying to affect change without losing their way. Power dynamics are always complex.
Taylor's juggling so much here. The intensity of her responsibilities sounds palpable. The constant pressure.
This arc truly shows the real personal cost of being in charge. And it's a heavy one. It's not glamorous. It's often brutal.
We've covered so much ground. Taylor's journey from bullied teen to leader is immense. Before we get into the latter part of the story, where things get even more cosmic and intense, let's pause again. If you're finding this breakdown of Worm's intricate arcs helpful, we'd love it if you hit like, subscribe, or share this deep dive with someone else who might appreciate it.
It really helps us keep these conversations going. Okay, after the burdens of leadership, does Taylor move on? What's migration?
Yes, migration implies a journey. What if leaving everything behind was the only way forward? Taylor's on the move.
A change of scenery, perhaps? New horizons bring fresh challenges as Taylor embarks on a journey, maybe seeking answers, a new direction, or just escaping the pressures of her previous role.
Wildbow delves into discovery, introspection.
Yes, it's a narrative of discovery, finding out more about the world, maybe about the origins of powers, but also deep introspection. Who is she now after everything? And that persistent presence of doubt still follows her.
Is there a moment where she reevaluates her goals?
Definitely. A moment of deep contemplation where she reevaluates her priorities, maybe realizes her previous goals were flawed or incomplete, and sets new objectives for her future. It's a recalibration.
Does she find new connections on this journey?
Yes, a new bond offers hope. The formation of a significant new connection provides emotional support, maybe new information, and renewed hope for Taylor as she navigates this unfamiliar territory.
So the core ideas are about the search for purpose.
That universal human quest for meaning and direction, especially when you step into unknown environments, leaving your old life behind. What drives you now?
And resilience in the face of change.
Highlighting Taylor's adaptability, her mental fortitude in navigating constant shifts in her circumstances, her environment, her understanding of the world. She has to keep evolving.
This feels like those big, epic journey stories.
Connects to contemporary global migration narratives or even stories of exploration you see in 2025 media. That blend of adventurous discovery with deep introspection about identity, belonging, and finding your place in a world that's much bigger and stranger than you thought.
This arc sounds like a profound road trip for the soul, full of personal discovery and maybe some hard truths.
Taylor's finding herself in unexpected ways here, rediscovering or redefining her purpose. And that journey, that search for meaning after upheaval, really hits home for many people.
But power always seems to find Taylor. Or she finds it. Queen is next. A new ruler rises.
Or perhaps Taylor becomes that ruler, willingly or not.
What if power came with a crown you never wanted? Taylor faces dominion.
Control and influence dominate this arc. Taylor steps into, or maybe is forced into, a new, incredibly powerful and possibly unwanted role, a position of significant authority again, but maybe on a larger scale.
Wildbow weaves a tale of authority, resistance.
Authority, definitely. Maybe resistance to that authority, or Taylor resisting the role itself. And the weight of this new kind of power, perhaps even more isolating or demanding than before.
Does she make a bold move to solidify this power?
Yes. There's a decisive action Taylor takes, maybe a strategic masterstroke, maybe a ruthless decision that irrevocably cements her authority and position in this new context. It shows she can wield this level of power, too.
But does connection still ground her?
Crucially, a personal connection softens the crown's weight. A significant personal bond provides that vital counterpoint to the isolating effects of immense power, reminding her of her humanity, what she's fighting for.
Core ideas. The burden of leadership, revisited.
But amplified. The immense responsibilities and personal costs associated with holding a position of, perhaps, supreme authority. The choices become even harder, the stakes even higher.
And love and loyalty as anchors.
Discussing how deep personal connections, love, loyalty, friendship serve as essential grounding forces amidst the chaos and the temptations or sheer burden of power. They keep her from losing herself completely.
This sounds like those epic fantasy or sci-fi stories about reluctant rulers.
Connects very well to 2025's fascination with power dynamics, yeah. Think about viral docuseries focusing on influential historical figures or fictional stories about leaders grappling with immense responsibility. Queen explores those classic themes.
Taylor's strength here, stepping into yet another demanding role. It sounds truly awe-inspiring. She just keeps adapting, keep growing.
This arc perfectly balances the grandeur, maybe even the terror of power, with the grounding force of the heart and personal connection. It's that duality again.
But just when she seems to reach a peak of influence, Scourge arrives, a threat she can't control.
Scourge brings another wave of overwhelming threat, possibly tied to the consequences of her own actions or power.
What if the enemy was simply unstoppable? Taylor faces a devastating force.
A relentless and overwhelming threat emerges here, testing the endurance of all the characters and the strength of their bonds to the absolute limit.
Wildbow thrusts the narrative into a brutal battle where survival hangs by a thread.
The thinnest of threads. This feels like an extinction-level event, or close to it. The scale of the threat might be cosmic or deeply personal, but its impact is devastating.
Is there a moment of unity? A last stand.
Yes, a desperate stand uniting allies. Disparate characters, maybe even old enemies again, come together for a last, desperate defense against a seemingly insurmountable foe. It's all hands on deck.
And loss. Again.
Inevitably, there's a loss that shakes resolve, a devastating loss that profoundly impacts Taylor, challenging her very will to fight on, to endure. How much more can she take?
Core ideas. Resilience against overwhelming odds.
Examining that human capacity, or maybe parahuman capacity, to persevere, to find strength even when faced with utterly crushing superior forces, the refusal to give up.
And the power of friendship in crisis.
How deep friendships and loyalties become vital lifelines, sources of strength, motivation, comfort in moments of existential threat. They fight for each other.
This sounds like end-of-the-world stakes again, maybe even bigger than extermination.
Connects to those contemporary climate disaster narratives or other existential threat stories in 2025. That sense of impending doom, immense stakes, blending urgency with the enduring human spirit of hope and connection.
His arc sounds so intensely gripping. It's like facing the absolute end of everything but doing it together. That bond matters.
Taylor's bonds here, the relationships she's forged, they are what truly keep me invested as a reader. They are the anchors in this relentless storm.
Okay, after facing near total annihilation comes transformation. Chrysalis again. Wait, no, the outline had Chrysalis earlier. Arc 20 was Chrysalis. Let me check the outline again. I see the flow. After Scourge, Arc 19, the outline jumps to Chrysalis, Arc 20, which we discussed as the metamorphosis. Then Imago, Drone, Crushed, Scarab, Extinction, Sting, Cockroaches, Venom, Speck, and finally, Epilogues. My apologies. Let's pick up after Taylor's transformation in Chrysalis.
Right, so after that major metamorphosis in Chrysalis, she emerges changed. That leads into Imago.
Okay, Imago. Like the adult insect emerging. What if becoming yourself meant fully facing the world? Taylor steps into her own.
Exactly. In Imago, Taylor fully embraces the new roles and aspects of her identity that emerged from Chrysalis. There are themes of romance, acceptance blooming alongside her continued growth.
Wildbow presents a story of emergence. Deeper connection.
Self-actualization, really. She's more comfortable, perhaps, in her own skin, even with all the power and the baggage. It's about living as this new version of herself.
Is there a key romantic development here?
Yes. There's often highlighted a significant romantic moment or deepening of a bond that enriches Taylor's emotional landscape. It strengthens her connections, provides stability.
And does she have a moment where her new identity is solidified?
Definitely. A triumphant stand or a decisive action where her choices and behavior confirm and cement her newly embraced identity both in her own eyes and in the eyes of others. She is this person now.
Core ideas. Love is a source of strength.
Examining how romantic and personal love can provide resilience, motivation, a grounding force in a world that's still incredibly turbulent and dangerous.
And embracing identity, even amidst chaos.
Discussing the challenge and triumph of living authentically, confidently in a world marked by constant change, conflict, and judgment. Owning who you are completely.
This feels very positive, connecting to modern storytelling trends.
Connects well to 2025's focus on inclusive storytelling, yeah. Celebrating diverse expressions of self, identity, relationships. Imago offers that moment of blossoming, even if shadows still linger.
This arc's heart sounds warm and genuine, a truly beautiful development in her incredibly harsh story.
Taylor's finding her rightful place, or maybe carving it out for herself. And that journey is incredibly relatable to anyone seeking belonging, seeking to live as their true self.
But peace is short-lived in Worm. Drone comes next. A watchful eye looms.
The threats shift again. Surveillance becomes key in Drone.
What if every move was watched? Taylor navigates a world of scrutiny.
Strategy, surveillance, control these generate intense tension here. Taylor confronts new, pervasive threats, possibly from powerful organizations or individuals who are monitoring everything she does.
Wildbow immerses the narrative in a high-stakes game of evasion. Counterintelligence.
Exactly. It's cat and mouse again, but maybe more technological, more about information control, staying one step ahead of unseen watchers.
Because Taylor managed to outsmart them.
She does. There's a clever move, a brilliant tactical maneuver, where she evades or outwits those monitoring her. It showcases her sharp intellect adapting to new kinds of threats.
But does the constant scrutiny take a toll?
Immensely. There's a moment of doubt testing her identity. The constant pressure, the lack of privacy forces her to question her actions, her choices, maybe even her sanity or sense of self. It's psychologically wearing.
Core ideas. The cost of living under scrutiny.
Examining the psychological and emotional toll. The erosion of privacy, the paranoia, the feeling of being constantly judged or targeted.
And strategy is a path to freedom.
Discussing how intelligent planning, cunning, manipulating information can be essential tools for maintaining autonomy and freedom in a world where surveillance is pervasive.
This hits close to home with modern privacy debates.
Directly links to those 2025 privacy debates, yeah. Concerns around AI tracking, data collection by corporations and governments, the balance between security and individual liberty. Drone explores the dark side of a surveillance society.
This arc... claustrophobic.
But Taylor's wit and intelligence here are simply brilliant to watch. She's a force to be reckoned with, constantly adapting her strategies to survive.
The pressure just keeps building, leading to crushed. Sounds bad.
Crushed is about reaching the absolute breaking point.
What if the world pushed you beyond your limits? Taylor faces crushing odds.
Overwhelming forces, relentless challenges test Taylor's limits of endurance, both physical and mental fortitude. This is where things seem utterly hopeless.
Wildbow portrays a story defined by incredible resolve, the will to continue against impossible circumstances.
Yes, it's about finding strength when there seems to be none left, pushing through pain, loss, and despair that would break almost anyone else.
Is there a moment of defiance? A last stand?
There's a desperate stand showcasing her strength, a heroic moment where Taylor's sheer inner strength and willpower are on full display, even if victory seems impossible. It's awe-inspiring.
But is there more loss? Something that truly challenges her will to continue?
Yes. A devastating loss occurs that pushes Taylor to the very edge of despair, making her question her capacity to persist. Can she go on after this? What's the point?
Core ideas. Resilience under unimaginable pressure.
Examining that extraordinary human or parahuman capacity for endurance and recovery when faced with seemingly insurmountable adversity. How much can one person take?
And the power of defiance, even in defeat.
Discussing how, even when facing loss or setback, the act of defiant resistance itself can be a powerful statement of character, refusing to be broken, even when you're beaten.
This sounds like those incredible viral survival stories you hear about.
Connects perfectly to those contemporary viral survival stories in 2025, blending themes of grit, courage, unimaginable hardship, and the enduring human spirit against all odds.
Taylor's strength here just sounds unreal. It's profoundly inspiring to witness that level of endurance.
This arc is truly about holding on when every single thing in the world seems aligned against you, an incredible, agonizing feat of willpower.
After being crushed, the threats become ancient. Scarab is next.
Yeah, Scarab delves into the deeper, older lore of the worm universe.
What if the past came back to haunt you? Taylor confronts ancient threats.
Old, long-dormant forces resurface, maybe related to the origin of powers, the entities behind them. It blends past and present struggles into a complex new challenge.
Wildbow weaves a tale connecting history to current survival, revealing deeper layers.
Exactly. We start to understand the bigger picture, the ancient conflicts that underpin the current reality. It expands the scope dramatically.
Is there a revelation tying Taylor to these larger forces?
Yes, a shocking discovery often links Taylor's personal journey, her specific powers maybe, to these grander ancient conflicts. It reframes her entire struggle within a much larger, possibly cosmic context.
Does this bring people together again? Rekindle hope?
Often, yes. A moment of unity, maybe understanding the true nature of the enemy, emerges. It offers a vital spark of hope, a renewed sense of collective purpose in the face of these daunting historical threats.
Core ideas. The weight of history on present choices.
Examining how historical events, ancient legacies, past mistakes profoundly influence current decisions and the ongoing conflicts the characters face. The past is never truly dead.
And unity as a path to survival against these massive threats.
Discussing the crucial role of cooperation, shared knowledge, shared goals in overcoming threats that originate from a long, complex, and perhaps hidden past.
This sounds like uncovering a huge conspiracy or ancient mystery.
Connects to that 2025 fascination with uncovering ancient mysteries, yeah. Like those viral archaeology documentaries revealing hidden truths about the past. Scarab has that same vibe of peeling back layers of history to understand the present danger.
This arc sounds like unearthing a grand, ancient mystery. Absolutely gripping and full of potentially world-shattering surprises.
Taylor's facing the echoes of the past, confronting forces that have shaped her world without her even knowing it. And the intensity of those confrontations is palpable. The stakes become potentially universal.
Which leads directly into extinction. The end looms.
Extinction is where the ultimate world-ending threat fully emerges or escalates.
What if the end was truly inevitable? Taylor faces apocalyptic stakes.
A world-ending threat, maybe the culmination of everything hinted at in Scarab, forces all disparate paths, all remaining factions, to converge in one desperate, final, last stand.
Wildbow delivers a climactic battle for survival on a truly grand apocalyptic scale.
The grandest scale imaginable. The fate of the entire planet, maybe multiple realities, hangs in the balance. This is the big one.
Does Taylor have a defining heroic moment here? Something that cements her legacy?
Yes, a heroic stand defining her legacy, a momentous act of heroism by Taylor that not only impacts the present battle, but solidifies her lasting impact on the world, however it turns out.
And a final, heartbreaking choice.
Almost certainly. A profound, painful decision Taylor is forced to make, testing her core values, challenging everything she's fought for, potentially involving immense sacrifice.
Core ideas. Sacrifice for the greater good, taken to the extreme.
Examining the ultimate acts of selflessness, the difficult, maybe impossible ethical calculations involved in trying to save a world, or worlds, on the absolute brink of annihilation.
And the power of unity in the face of oblivion.
Discussing how, even when facing total extinction, collective action, shared purpose, pooling all remaining strength can offer that last glimmer of hope, increase the slimmest chances of survival.
This is peak apocalyptic fiction.
Connects directly to contemporary apocalyptic fiction trends in 2025. That blend of massive spectacle, overwhelming stakes, but grounded with deep human emotion, sacrifice, and the desperate fight for survival.
This arc's stakes sound just unreal, absolutely epic in every sense of the word, the culmination of everything.
And Taylor's choices here, the burden she carries, they hit so incredibly hard. The emotional weight is immense, almost crushing.
Okay, the apocalyptic battle is raging, and we get Sting, a piercing moment.
Sting implies precision amidst the chaos, a critical strike.
What if one strike, one specific action, could change everything? Taylor faces a piercing moment.
Confrontations reach their absolute peak intensity. Taylor is forced to make critical, decisive moves, maybe exploiting a tiny weakness in an overwhelming foe.
Wildbow brings the narrative to a powerful, climactic showdown where precision is key.
Exactly. This isn't just about large armies clashing anymore. It might come down to one perfectly aimed attack, one strategic gamble, one specific use of power.
Is there a moment where her action shifts the tide?
Yes, a decisive action that fundamentally alters the course of the battle or the entire conflict. A pivotal moment where Taylor's specific ability or strategic insight makes the crucial difference.
But does she remain grounded amidst this epic scale?
There is often a personal moment grounding the chaos. A brief, intimate interaction or thought amidst the universal stakes that provides Taylor with a crucial anchor to her humanity, her purpose, why she's fighting.
Core ideas. The power of precision in chaos.
Examining how carefully aimed, intelligent actions the Sting can be far more effective than just brute force, especially in moments of extreme disarray or against seemingly invincible opponents.
And courage is a defining trait.
Discussing how, in the face of overwhelming pressure and terrifying odds, Taylor's unwavering courage defines her character and empowers her actions. It allows her to make that critical move when needed.
This feels like those clutch moments in high-stakes sports.
Great analogy for 2025. Connects perfectly to those high-stakes sports events, the final seconds of the Super Bowl. A penalty shootout in the World Cup where a single play, a single precise move completely changes the outcome and defines legacies. Sting has that same nail-biting intensity.
Taylor's moves here sound electric. You'd feel the energy radiating off the page.
This arc is truly like the final boss level of an incredibly difficult video game epic, requiring perfect execution and incredibly satisfying if successful.
Okay, the Sting hits, but is it over? Cockroaches is next. Survival hangs on.
Cockroaches suggests survival in the aftermath, perhaps in a broken world. Endurance.
What if survival meant thriving in the margins? Like the namesake, Taylor fights on.
Adaptability and resilience drive this arc. Taylor navigates a fractured, fundamentally changed world, possibly after a Pyrrhic victory or devastating losses.
Wildbow crafts a story focused on enduring hardship, the strength of bonds in the aftermath.
Exactly. It's about picking up the pieces in a potentially ruined landscape, finding ways to live, to continue, and relying on those enduring human bonds to get through it.
Is there a moment of ingenuity, finding new ways to survive.
Yes, an instance where Taylor's cleverness or resourcefulness creates a new pathway for survival in seemingly impossible conditions, adapting her powers or her thinking to this new reality.
And are her bonds still anchoring her?
Absolutely crucial. A deep personal connection provides Taylor with the emotional and psychological stability needed to continue her arduous struggle in this harsh new world. It gives her a reason to keep going.
Core ideas. Adaptability as a form of strength.
Examining the idea that the ability to change, adjust, find new ways to live like a cockroach surviving anything is a powerful and often overlooked form of strength. Not just fighting, but enduring.
And the power of connection and survival revisited.
Discussing how human relationships, mutual support, shared grief, shared hope are essential for navigating and overcoming extreme survival situations, especially in the long term.
This sounds like gritty, post-apocalyptic storytelling.
Connects to those 2025 survivalist trends, yeah.
Yeah.
Like off-grid living stories or post-apocalyptic media narratives that focus on resourcefulness, community building, and the sheer will to endure in a broken world.
Taylor's like a true survivor in a post-apocalyptic world here. It's incredibly inspiring to see her ingenuity and persistence after everything.
And this arc powerfully shows how deeply important those bonds are for keeping us going, for giving us a reason to fight, a reason to rebuild, even when things seem bleakest.
But the threats aren't over yet. A final betrayal looms. Venom.
Venom suggests something poisonous, insidious, close to home.
What if trust itself was poison? Taylor faces a toxic betrayal.
Deep deceptions, insidious manipulations inject tension here. Taylor fights desperately for control, maybe against someone she trusted implicitly, someone whose betrayal cuts deeper than any physical wound.
Wildbow crafts a story of profound betrayal, recovery, redemption.
All of the above. The pain of betrayal, the arduous path to recovery from that kind of psychological wound, and perhaps even the possibility of redemption for the betrayer or for Taylor and how she responds.
So, a truly shocking betrayal.
Yes, a devastating act that profoundly impacts Taylor, pushing her emotional and psychological limits, perhaps more than anything before. It questions the very foundations of her relationships.
But is there a glimmer of hope? Redemption.
There might be. A moment of redemption, perhaps. A significant act of atonement, forgiveness, or understanding that offers a glimmer of hope and the possibility of healing from these deep, venomous wounds.
Core ideas.
Yeah.
The pain of betrayal and the path to recovery.
Examining the profound emotional trauma of being betrayed by someone close and the complex, often nonlinear process of healing, rebuilding trust or learning not to, and moving forward.
And trust as this fragile strength again.
Highlighting its precarious nature in a dangerous world. Its power as a bond, but its terrible vulnerability to corruption and manipulation. The venom of broken trust.
This sounds like peak relationship drama, almost like reality TV.
Connects surprisingly well to those viral reality TV betrayals we see constantly in 2025. The intense drama, the emotional stakes, the audience reactions. Venom captures that raw personal sting of betrayal, but with Worm's heightened stakes.
Oof, this arc's twists sound like a gut punch. They truly catch you off guard after everything else.
Taylor's journey here, dealing with this kind of toxic fallout, feels so raw and real. The emotional depth is immense and painfully relatable for anyone who's experienced deep betrayal.
And finally, we reach the absolute endgame. Spec. Reality shifts.
This is it. Spec is where things transcend the normal scale of conflict entirely.
What if reality itself unraveled? Taylor faces a mind-bending crisis.
We touched on this. Wildbow culminates the entire story here. A surreal, psychologically challenging climax that pushes the boundaries of perception, reality, existence itself. Microscopic perspectives balloon into macro-level chaos.
It questions the nature of existence.
Fundamentally, this arc is a masterpiece of world-building, cosmic horror, and psychological intensity. It leaves you questioning everything about the Wormverse, the entities, the powers, everything. It's a disorienting, relentless assault on Taylor's senses and sanity.
But she finds clarity amidst the chaos.
Amazingly, yes. There's that moment we discussed, a crucial instance where Taylor finds focus or understanding despite the overwhelming, disorienting, reality-shattering chaos around her. It's a testament to her incredible mental fortitude.
And makes a final defining choice.
A decisive, ultimate choice that irrevocably defines her legacy and serves as the culmination of her entire brutal journey. It's likely a choice with universe-altering consequences, possibly involving immense sacrifice.
Core ideas. The nature of reality and control pushed to the extreme.
Examining profound philosophical questions. What is reality? Who defines it? Can individuals exert control, have free will, when faced with cosmic, reality-shaping forces?
And identity is the final stand.
In the face of threats that seek to dismantle not just the world, but perception and selfhood itself, maintaining who you are, your core values, your will, that becomes the ultimate act of defiance and survival.
This sounds like cutting-edge experimental sci-fi.
Connects strongly to contemporary experimental sci-fi films or immersive VR narratives in 2025 that challenge perceptions of reality. Think Everything Everywhere All at Once for that kind of complexity, or VR experiences that totally mess with your sense of what's real. Spec pushes those same boundaries.
This arc sounds like a dream you can't wake from. Wild, disorienting, utterly captivating, a true feat of imagination that would stay with you.
Taylor's final stand here is just breathtaking in its scope and emotional weight, an epic, yet incredibly intimate conclusion to her struggle against forces far beyond human comprehension.
And after that, we finally reach the epilogues. The journey ends. How does it close?
Gently, reflectively. After the cosmic storm, the quiet aftermath.
What happens after the world changes? Taylor's journey closes with reflection.
The sprawling story wraps up gracefully. Poignant reflections on growth, loss, legacy, the lasting impact of everything that happened. It's a thoughtful, emotional farewell to Brockton Bay, to Taylor, to all the characters.
It provides closure, but acknowledges the scars.
Exactly. Wildbow delivers a truly moving conclusion. It ties up many loose ends, but leaves room for the quiet continuation of life in this changed world. It feels earned.
Is there a specific moment of closure?
Yes, a quiet moment, not a huge bang, but a significant scene that provides that sense of finality, resolution, a chance for characters and the reader to process the immense journey.
And a hopeful look forward.
Crucially, yes. An instance that suggests optimism, continuity, despite all the hardship. Not a fairy tale ending, but a realistic, hard-won hope for what comes next. A testament to enduring resilience.
Core ideas. The legacy of choices made.
Examining the lasting impact of Taylor's decisions, her actions throughout the entire saga, how they shaped the world she leaves behind, the lives she touched, for better and worse, consequences and ripples.
And growth is a lifelong journey.
Discussing the idea that personal development doesn't just stop when the main conflict ends. It's ongoing, continuous. Characters continue to evolve, adapt, live with their experiences.
This feels like those thoughtful memoirs or reflective stories we see more of now.
Connects to that 2025 trend in reflective storytelling, yeah. Viral memoirs, introspective narratives, looking back, finding meaning, offering perspective. It allows readers to process the journey and appreciate the profound, often quiet changes, like a documentary reflecting on a major historical turning point, acknowledging cost and progress.
This ending sounds so incredibly satisfying, like truly saying a heartfelt goodbye to your friend, or maybe a fascinating, complex acquaintance, full of emotion and lasting impact.
Taylor's legacy, the questions her journey raises, that's what makes this entire story timeless and resonant for years to come. It's not just an ending, it's a powerful statement on the human spirit, power, and consequence.
And so, our deep dive into Wildbow's Worm comes to a close. Wow, what a journey. From a bullied teenager in a locker to a figure of immense power and responsibility tangled in cosmic events. Taylor Heber's journey is truly a testament to the complex nature of heroism, villainy, and sheer human endurance.
It's a world that completely challenges your assumptions about good and evil. It shows how environment, desperation, trauma, power, how these things can shape anyone, pushing them in directions they never imagined. The emotional beats are so raw, the strategic depth is incredible, and the flawed, aching humanity woven into every single arc just makes it an unforgettable experience.
It really sticks with you.
It does. It's not just a story, it's a conversation starter about agency, trust, trauma, responsibility, the cost of power, and what it truly means to survive in a world that often feels hostile. It begs us to look closer at the easy labels we put on heroes and villains.
So, after witnessing Taylor's entire saga, seeing her embrace the insects, command armies, make impossible choices, maybe even break worlds, what does define a hero or a monster, especially in a world where those lines are so constantly brutally blurred?
And maybe, what does surviving truly mean when it requires embracing the very thing everyone else fears and potentially sacrificing so much of your own humanity along the way?
Definitely something to mull over.
As we wrap up this deep dive, we want to remind you that this channel is not officially affiliated with, authorized, or endorsed by the original authors, publishers, or entities associated with the works featured. This podcast and related content are shared solely for educational and motivational purposes. Some content may use synthesized voices. Our intention is to highlight valuable insights and inspire viewers while fully respecting the rights and contributions of the original creators. We do not claim any ownership nor seek to mislead in any way.
Thank you so much for joining us on this incredible, intense journey through Worm. Remember to follow our show wherever you get your podcasts to catch all our future deep dives. Until next time, keep diving deep into the stories that matter.